Alright, continuing with the Book of Zohar, your Kabbalist, reading this for Rory. In the beginning of Rabbi Sheman, the flower buds have appeared on earth, and the Hebrew word land and earth are designated by the same word, Eretza. Song of Songs 2:2. The flower buds refer to the act of the creation appeared on the earth when 1/3 day, as it said, and the earth was brought forth grass. The time singing has come for to refer to the fourth day of the time of strictness, judgment, restriction. Therefore, the fourth day of the word light is written in the missing with a missing letter, with hints of strictness of judgment and curse. As voice of the turtle dove is heard. It refers to the fifth day, on which said, let the waters swarm, so they produce an offspring. However, the words is heard already refer to the sixth day, on what it said, let us make man, who referred in the future shall put action before understanding shall put action before understanding. What we shall do, we shall be here. Nesha versus Be Neshama. For he said that let us make man, and there he said, what shall we do, what shall we hear? And our land refers to the day of the Shabbat, in which is like the land of life, and the word will come, the word of the world to come. In complete incomprehension of the use of the is how the book of the Zohar compared with the word with the Shirah or Shirima. Song of Songs 2:12 with the written in the Torah about the first day of the creation, the sixth day of the creation, symbolized with the six Reverifas, and on which the 10 Seraphim of Nekla are built, is because of the Seraphim of Nekava. This Nekava is the only way we only will to receive pleasure, while the entire spiritual body desires to bestow consists of the head of the husband or her Sarat, the Jeffra and Pain, altruistic property of the Jeffra and Pain of the Navah, and the Navah herself created the desire to receive pleasure in an empty place unfilled with the light of the Creator. There is because the light is can only enter the desire of the Kli, or the soul, which similarly properties itself. Therefore, the extent of the similarity of the Zavah Alpin. Property of the Molshat receive the Zalfer and Alpin with the corrective of the property of the Molshat, termed with the parts of Av, may come filled with the light of the corresponding to the correction. The greatest correction is made with a particular part with the greater light of the lights of the five Farats. The inch of the part with the corrective of the fifth with the Mashat with the referred to the world. Here and henceforth the Zohar explains how the Nukava is built with the Zephra and Pin, and how the world is created. The Nukava is created with the earth. And flower buds are Sephiroth's property with the Zephra and Pin, with the period with the growth of the Melshat, with the third day of the creation, which corresponds with the Sharat Tefret, or Hersad 1, Generava 2, Hefret 3. And the beginning of the Melshat was created with the Zephra in the height, and two equal greater celestial bodies, the sun of Zephra and Pin, and the moon Malshalat. This is why we see in the beginning being equal inside, but the moon is full. After all, it is said that the regard to the man in the initial state, following the creation, the Malshat is a point at the feet of Zephyr and Pain, and subsequently grows along with him. This is to say that 1/3 of the This is to say, on the third day of creation, Malshat was equal to the height of the head, and some property of the Tefrat of the Zephyr and Pain, but the Malshat was not able to receive the light in such a state. Hence, that is said strictness or judgment appeared on the earth. The Malshat of the flower buds merely appeared. After that, the time of the singing has come. Already for reference, the fourth day of the creation of Malshat was diminished because of the complaint of the Creator's two angles cannot wear one crown. Malshat is equal to the Zephyr and Pain, with the height of the shall not receive the light of the Husham from him created from him. The reason for the beginning they not receive the light of the Esidimian from what Zafra and Pain beforehand, Malshat cannot receive the light of the Hoshima, or the light of the Hoshima can only be received with the light of Hasidim by the clothing of the light of the Hoshiam and the light of the Hasidim, and to enjoy the Creator's sake. All the creator of the mall shall not go and diminish with yourself. In other words, the owning of the egotistic properties, you cannot receive the light with it independently, but with the Zephyr and Pin, the diminisher of your own properties, except with his, and gradually correct himself. You must be able to receive all the light and be like him. The Zephyr and Pin with the creator. Also described with the Talmud, the Hillen 62, but the only explanation provided by the Zohar would be to do we stop receiving as a fairy tale. The Malshel descends below the Asad of the Zephyr and Pin with lower number to the Sephirat, but below the Persad within to the BYA, and her only Sephirat with the Keter remained with the Asvat point of the saying with the Asad, Zephyr and Pin. From here with the Malshat is built on her own Sephirat, the existing of the BYA, or existing with the Sephiroth, but the Sephiroth property of the Netzava and Had of the Zephyr Ampin. Although the Moshat was previously bigger, she was not able to receive the light of the lack of the light of the Hasidium. While she will be smaller, but she will have the light of the Hasidium, with which she will be able to receive the light of the Hoshima. Even though the Malchut will become low degree, she will be able to utilize the light of the Hasidium, repel the impure force of the cling with the Nukava, the meaning that the Zeramin singing and pruning. For however, there is another meaning with the word here to cut off and pruning of the impure force of the Malchut rosebud. The voice of the turtle of it is a Sephiroth, the property of the Nesavaz and D Zephyr Ampin. The voice of the turtle of represents the Sephiroth Had Zephyr Ampin with the first day of the creation of the Malchut reserved through the Yesadah, which is the receipt of the Had, and this join the Nesavaz. Such reception Malchut referred to the voice of the turtle of. Therefore, the words is heard, but the refer to the sixth day. The sixth voice of the turtle dove Malchut is heard only when the help of the sixth day with the Yesadah Zephyr Ampin, which includes Nesavaz and Had, and passes the light of the Malchut, hence the said, but the voice for the Malchut only Yesod on the sixth day. For this reason, Malchut can receive the light only from the Bino line of the Zephyr Ampin. Either the Yesod or the Zephyr of the Zephyr shall receive the degree called the Nephium, or Ibir embryo, or the Tiferet of the Zephyr Ampin shall receive the degree of the H Hagdot vacuum Yankiva, nursing her cat nut smallness from the Devat, in which she received the degree of the Cub HBD, Garmin, Motion, Brain, or Goldman Big. Light of Nisham, light of the HBDM, or Hokamad Binium Dot. Light of the Risham, light of the Hased Genevirium Defrat. Light of the Nefesh, light of the Netzava Yushiad Hodat. Alright, let us make man more in the future than he. Let us make man more in the future. He shall put all action before listening. Singing. This man for the future. He shall put all action before listening. Sight refers to the Sephirah Hoshaman, but refers to the Sephirah with the Benia action deeded with the property of Malshalat, in order with the Malshalat, the creator, only creation over the Sephirah, with the properties of the creator himself, with which he created, gradually created Malshalat. Second restriction with the Malshalat extends. Benia is so to combine egotistic property of the reception and Benia's altruistic property for the soul. Moshalat, same with the Abia Hoshima and Emia Benia found in herself the Moshalat Persa, where she became similar in her property of the Moshalat. Eyes refer to the Sephirah Hoshima and our Abba. Moshalat ascends the lower level of the eyes and stands level of the pupils. Moshalat is called the Nukavad. Moshalat is the man is level of the eyes with the Nikium Ainium pupils. This is why there is only Keter and Hoshima and Rosh or head, and the Aa or Benia level of the Rashat, the Goff, the Malshalat above the men, representing the action above the receiving, the perception, understanding. This is what meant we will do, and we will hear the action. Second restriction limiting the reception only to the GE or such a state with the return in one property with the creator. The complete return will occur with the HP Mushalat just created joined with the GE of joins of the Ferris direct light of this degree. As the result, the Mashalat ascending of the Seraphied change with the prosperity. Everyone who needs the ascended level of the creator properties, everyone who of us needs only this ascend the level of the creator's property so that we can receive them and become like him. And I was ready to ascend the ABI, receive the light of the Hayah, the constant light of the level that's called the first temple. This is why the receiving the Torah is Israel elected to act at first and the hereafter. After the reason is merited the reception of the Torah, Talmud, Shabbat, and 85:1. The action of Malshat ascending and clothed ABI, the secret of the 50 gates of the Benia was revealed. Like, I can't give a fuck. Construction temple does not pertain with the being built in this world, rather than attainment of the degree of the temple, the degree of the Al-Savat, light of Haya, first temple, the degree of Yeshat, the Al-Savat, light of the Nushama, second temple. Here Zohar tells us, and it's heard on the sixth day of this, and this day, and the state of the Malshalat was correct with the meaning of the absence of the Vinya, referred to the placing action before listening to do and hear, but during the reception of the Torah. Malshalat is the state of the ascension of the Binia, called the internal land or the land of life, so he inherits life from Binia. Alright, flower buds. In our land refers to the Shabbat, in which is likely the eternal land of life. Amia Benia is called the land of life, the eternal land of the result of the acts of the second day of the sixth day of the Creator's action above the factor of the time designate the action of the Creator himself with no covenant in our world. The Malsha ascended the Ema of the seventh day of the creation Shabbat will become like Ema, for when lower end of it extends to the degree of the upper one will become equal to the property type of the one open one hence one ascending of the Benia, therefore receiving the light of Hesha Malshalat is called the land of eternal life. Alright, another explanation of flower buds by the patriarchs. We entered with the mind that entered into the world of the Benia, where we remained concealed. There was emerging concealment, concealing themselves in the truth of the prophets. The Yosavai born, they concealed themselves within him. When the Yosavai entered the Holy Land, they erected them with them there, and they appeared on the earth and were revealed there. Why did they appear? When a rainbow can be seen, they become revealed. At the moment the time of singing has come, the beginning with the time of eradicated with the world, of the wicked of the world. Why did they survive? Because the flower buds had appeared on and from the earth, and if they were seen beforehand, they could not remain in the world, and world had not been able to exist. The three patriarchs, your Isaac, Abraham, Jacob, and then your three sons, Aaron, Joseph, and Moses, to King David. Zephyrah explains the taming of the life of the Hayam, the Sephiroth of the Zephron Ampim, called the son of and the Hagat of Zephyrah Ampim, called the patriarchs, as well as the turtle dove of the Zephyrah Ampim. Similarly, consists of the two parts above the Shesat, as Sephiroth have the another Sephiroth be called the Big Zon, because Shiphat Sephiroth and Sephiroth Nahim. Sephiroth NHY is called the prophet. The Oecidium is called the righteous one. And here the Zophar speaks of the buds gradually will grow from the small state, the biggest one, state of zone. First, the zone was small, consisting of Sephiroth Naya with the light of Nefesh, and called the Urban Emperor. This calves of the Inkia nursing, receiving the light of Emia, zone grew. According to the property of the Sephiroth Nuya grew, the equalized Sephiroth Head Shiel, and even received the light of the Rashat. Thus, the parts of us now consist of the HET or the Hesed, Gavarn, Tervet, and the Netzvah Had Rasad, with lights of the Rashad and Nefesh. Subsequently, for the reception and strength of the upper one from the growth is attained with the Sabbath. The burst parts of grew in three kinds, with the lights of and this is called the Gabadal. The biggest first big state, through the fourth further growth where they have attained stoiatry of maturity, Galilal belt, and the second biggest state in light with the Haliyah entered in the Savat of the Habidat Hukam Binia Dadat. So you have embryo, small, and then big. You notice that Dahad and Yishvat is on the bottom layer, then Gra, Hitzat, Tefrat is the next layer, and then finally Mania, Hoshima, Dot. Alright, the word grows refers to growth of the screen, a man's inner egoistic force of the desire. The only difference between the big vessel and the small one, the only difference between the parts being the inner property of the chain, depending on the change of the multitude of the screen. The fathers entered in the supernal mind and ascending into the world to come. The senses because speak of the paternal pre-eternal development of the Zephyr Ampin, which ascended with the AVI called supernal mind or supernal thought. Abio Hokama is called mind and thought. Amia Benia is called the world to come. Together they are called parents. Father and mother of the supernal mind or supernal thought is their creation begins with the conception of the Zephyr Ampin in the initial state of the spiritual embryo. Just as embryo in our world completely dependent on their mother having absolutely no desire, life of its own is developing on its only thanks to her, and so can every man become a spiritual embryo to completely relinquishes all of his desires and actions and submits entirely to the will of the upper parts of he will turn himself into the spiritual embryo, just like a psychological one. The difference between the psychological embryo and the spiritual one lies in the fact that becoming a spiritual embryo requires tremendous personal desire and effort, where the conception of physiological embryo depends on this parent. As a result of paternal development within the bina, which means the one completing the extinguishing all the personal desires and thoughts, and like an embryo which ready to accept all the mother gives and all thoughts of the prosperity, regardless of the incomprehensible, unnatural, have seen the essence of the embryo achieve the state of the spiritual birth. However, the state of the even greater concealment of the upper light and the regarding of the embryo does not yet have been screened with the reception of the light and has instated within is called the concealed and the true, with the prophet and Sethra Nisva hold. And Zephyr Ampine attains to the result of the processing, nursing, reception of milk, light of the Hasidma from the Emia Benia mother, light of the nurses of the NHY, Zephyr Anium, and the VAK, light of the Nashish Roshal, save the cat during the nursing Zephyr Antine, the Sephra Yersada, which is said to the Yosef of burning the nursing period is over. The Yosef Anium extends the AVI, which received from the light of the Neshama, and this constitute state of Galdala are called Yosef. Alright, Zephyr Ampin is made of three parts, APG, HPG, and NHY. The process of the Zephyr Ampin is acquiring with the stream of the desire is again for the purest, least egoistic part of the Zephyr HBD, which is the first received the light of the Neshah. Alright, afterwards, the Zephyr Ampine screen with the coarser egotistic desires, Zephyr with the HGT life of the Nefesh, with the path of the HBD, JHBGT, let Rashah enter the HBD virtually. Finally, Zephyr Ampine acquired the screen with the most egotistic column with the Zephyr with the NHM and the light of the Nefesh, pass with the HGT and the HY, let Rashah move to the HBD, empty the HGT, light of the Nesham, enter the HBD. The attainment of the big state was Zephyr Ampine created with the birth of Joseph for the merge of the Sephirah NHY, which will be the last Sephirah Yosad, and it's called the Yosef. However, the sign of the light of Hayah is not present with the state called concealment. When Joseph is entered the Holy Land and erected them therein, there is an after attainment with the big state reception of the light of Nashav. Zephyr Ampine continues to grow, cultivating a screen until the light of the Hayah enters it. In such a Maloshat, Zephyr Ampine separated from him into the independent parts of Al called the Holy Lamb, the light of the Hayah called the Holiness, and therefore the Yosefah entered in the rather ascending of the Holy Lamb of the Galda, Zephyr Ampine, and Zion Ampine, Nukava being equal to the beginning of the state of the Panium face to face, which the state determines the Zigva between Zan. And Joseph erected them in three, the light of the Hoya and Hokama, filled with the hearts of the holy, and the Zesvag and the Zophana, or Zephyr Ampin and Novaka, means Zosvag together. The lenient lights remaining in the mall shop, but only she and her screen can reveal it, just as the ABI or the GAR, Dbinia, Jusvat, Binia light with the Hoshima. Alright, a lot of light colors going on here. When are they seen? When the rainbow can be seen in the world is called the rainbow, called the Malsha. Their union is called rainbow within the cloud. Time is called, but they eradicated with all the wicked of the world, and as the number of the wicked grows, as impure forces, it's called the Zephyr Ampian Navika, the impure force of the Zephyr Ankia Navika, so greatly entitled the world brought in ruin, has happened in time of flood. If there is no salvation for the man other than through the revelation of upper light with the light of the Hayya, there was the Zohar tells the world that the flower buds appearing on the earth, meaning the light of the Hayya, eradicates the man and impure forces from the earth, and he desires Malshalat, and he cannot cling to hinder or hinder man. And he had not appeared, there would be no salvation in the world. If initial Navaka is built in the beginning with the Zephyr Amia, the is called the two great celestial bodies. The Malshat is the only same the degree of the Zephyr Amia, and would stand behind the back-to-back, unable to receive the light of the Hoshima in the absence of the light of Hasadium. There the Malshalat complain of the lacking of the light of Hasadium, there's not being able to receive the light of Hokama. Even the moon grows as the sun. It cannot shine independently because of the sun. Zephyr Ania gives light. Zephyr Ampin gives the light, and like Malshalat light, lacks the light of the Hukama. Some of the states call the reverse Archer back. Zuthica can take the place of position back to back. Archer to be Archer be Barker. Out of the new Vaka born growth received the properties from the Gulf of the Zia and written with the Torah with the Shavah Eve. Shavah Eve was born from the body of Adam. She became the Zephyr Ampin and for the Zuzag face Panium within. The new Kavah shall retain with the previous light when the moreover precisely when she fell a lack of the light when the initial state Malshalat received the light, specifically into her previous suffering. Similarly, man can feel the pressure only precise because of the pressure previous suffering. Therefore, there's effort to tell if the head, and that tells us that the head of Flower Bar does not appear with the Malshalat doing with the cat note when she was standing behind him. The Zelfa Ampin would not have been able to receive the light of the Hayah in her state of the state of the Galda, and she would have not been Kalam desired to receive the light. But every new creation is found with a new sensation of darkness, and is said to be the creator and emanates the light of the dark of himself, creator of darkness from nothing. Man's sensation for darkness signifies readiness to receive the light. Whose sustain of the world evoke revelation of the patriarch is, and with the voice of the children engaged in the Torah of their world, the world exits thanks to these children. Hence it said, we will make the pendants of gold sure. Hashemah and these children, youngsters of the world, is said to make the two cherubs of gold, Shefmah in 25:18. Alright, the light of the Roshah was called the children of the world is God with the state with the PBA face to back. Referred to the voice for the children engaged in the Torah, and is called the threads of gold and two cherubs of gold. Before the new Kavah grew, the impure force of the power to destroy the world, however, the precise, and because the new Kavah grows, the Zephyr Ampin, the bright of the left hand, merges in it, and her is one of the rainbow light within a cloud, and left line, the light of the Hayah can enter the Malshalat. Without this light, with the world destroyed during the state of flood. So who is it who is that sustains the world? Who causes the appearance of the light of the Hayah, the precisely in children engaged with the Torah, the children designate the light of the opposite side of the light of Roshua, the sensation deficiency of the light of Hayah for the child alludes the process of nursing the children of the housing Rabban, Tini, Yoket, Lisha, Biyat, Rabban, or the light of Hayah, or the word of Rabban derives from Rav or Big Hayah. This is not transgress, it does not use APH, egotistic use, yet uncorrected desire for the children to designate the small state they will receive. Alright, who created these?